The weather outside is frightful, but I will be delightful. I'm in a great mood. There's a blizzard outside here in Dallas, Texas, but I'm inside with you. And I'm going to break down the entire UFC Vegas 101 fight card. I'm going to give you my picks, my predictions, and my DraftKings plays. Not only is this the first fight card in 2025, but I will also be there live, in person, sitting cage side with that little redheaded kid that does the show with me. So I'm looking forward to this card very much. But even if I wasn't in attendance, I recognize that this is a pretty solid fight card overall. Let's go ahead and break the entire thing down. But before we do that, let's take a look at the success that our community has been having. We have about 4,600 premium members. All 4,600 of those people have access to our picks, our bets, our tools, our insight, and more. Some of those people use that to play DraftKings Fantasy. And that subset of premium members that play DraftKings Fantasy have been doing insanely well. Over the last year or so, they put up over $700,000 in winning tickets. Here's just a small sample size of some of those tickets that they have shared with us in the Discord and other places. You can unlock everything that they have access to right now at WeWantPicks.com. One of the tools that they have is a DraftKings optimizer. If you play DraftKings Fantasy, this will build fantasy lineups for you. Click a few buttons, it'll spit out a lineup. It'll spit out 150 lineups. It's preloaded with the best ownership projections in the game, and it is ready to go. This isn't just fantasy, though. You also have access to bets, to artificial intelligence, to picks, and other tools that help you be successful every single weekend for every single fight. You can unlock all of it for freaking $10 an entire month. A month, not a week, not an event, a month. Next week is UFC 311. You unlock this, you kick the year off with a bang. We got UFC 311 right around the corner, and then UFC Saudi Arabia after that. WeWantPicks.com, click become a member, unlock all of it. It's $10, and you're off to the races. Let's go ahead and break down this card. It's a good card. There are 14 fights. I promise. I'm going to try to keep this quick and in a hurry. We're going to try to get to the point. Sometimes I ramble. I'm rambling right now. Sometimes I ramble. We talk about some things. I may mention the snow outside my window. But I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible. You'll see right off the rip, we got a couple of reds. Well, that means we have some new opponents and we have some fight swaps. But we're going to start at the bottom and work our way to the top. Opening up the UFC Vegas 101 fight card, we have Nurullo Aliev with a brand new opponent. He was already on this card. He was a big favorite when he was already on it, so he was priced at $9,500, and he continues to be a big favorite. So we're not going to get a discount on him. We're not going to get lucky where he was a dog and now he's a favorite. So it is what it is. He was expensive before, he's expensive now. He's $9,500. The DraftKings fantasy pricing typically equates to if they're going to win or not necessarily how they're going to win. And Nurullo's a tricky guy as far as DraftKings fantasy. The breakdown's easy. He's going to win this fight. He can be a dominant wrestler. He's got some good striking. He pumps a nice jab, uses that to set up the takedowns. He gives a lot of people a lot of problems because of that. He's accomplished quite a bit in his early career, but he continues to show up on weight, ready to go. He steps in that octagon, he's all business. The jab is there, he stays busy. When he has his openings, he shoots takedowns. They're powerful, they're relentless. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he doesn't need to be with that forward pressure and all of that aggressiveness. But he's $9,500. Last fight, he only scored 92 points. That was a win. It was a nice decision. He had 3 takedowns. He had a whole bunch of control time, almost 12 minutes. The reason this could be a little tricky is he's taking on Joe Solecki. I happen to be a Joe Solecki fan. I'm not giving him much of a chance to win this fight, but I am a Joe Solecki fan. The comparison I've made historically is he's essentially Jim Miller 2.0. He's got decent striking, very good jiu-jitsu, and decent wrestling. Joe Solecki is a pretty straightforward kind of guy with the game plan. He's going to come out, stay busy with the striking, and if he has an opening, he's going to shoot a takedown, get it to the ground, and then try to win from there. The jiu-jitsu is solid, both off his back and on top. But as the sport evolves and as people get better and better at recognizing submissions and defending submissions, it's harder and harder to just be a meats and potatoes jiu-jitsu kind of guy. And that is what Joe Solecki is. So I don't give him much of a chance to win here. I do think he'll be taken down. I think he'll be held down. If this last fight, if you look at the Grant Dawson fight, dude only landed 12 significant strikes. He was on his back for 14 minutes of a 15-minute fight. This could look the same. And if it does look the same, then Nurullo Aliev is a great value at $9,500 in DraftKings Fantasy. The problem is, yes, in his UFC debut, he would lead heavily on the wrestling. But if you go do the tape study and you look at his pre-UFC fights, Nurullo Aliev can end up in a striking match. He has more than one fight where he was happy to engage with the striking, stay on the outside, not worried about too much. And if that happens, he's not going to score well at all. So Nurullo Aliev is a very confident pick. I am very confident he's going to win. And if he sticks to the game plan that he should, then he should be worth that $9,500. Then we have Fatima Kline taking on Victoria Dudakova. Fatima Kline's an interesting breakdown because she's a massive favorite. Biggest favorite on this card. Minus 950 betting odds. That almost is a 10-1 favorite. $9,800 in DraftKings Fantasy. That's Bo Nickel pricing. That's Amanda Nunes pricing. She is winless in the UFC. She's not a debut. She fought in the UFC. And she was out-grappled and out-wrestled. Obviously, that was against Jasmine Jasudavicius, who is up a weight and pretty big. But the reality is, Fatima Kline is good. I don't know if she's $9,800 good. She is a pressure grappler. She's going to strike. She's skinny and long. She's going to strike. She'll bounce around really light on her toes while plodding forward. Then she's going to shoot a takedown, try to get it to the ground. And on the ground, pretty aggressive jiu-jitsu. She's good. Don't get me wrong. Fatima Kline is good. Some people thought she was going to beat Jasmine Jasudavicius. I was positive she wasn't going to, but she did get a takedown, which is pretty impressive. And she is fighting Victoria Dudakova, who's not nearly as good as Jasmine Jasudavicius. So obviously this is a huge step down in competition for Fatima, and Fatima should win here. But Victoria is a pretty exciting fighter. She'll strike with you or she'll grapple with you. She can grapple. She's got some takedowns. She's got decent jiu-jitsu. She's not great at anything, but overall well-rounded and has some decent skills. The problem is she's not insanely dangerous. She's not insanely tough, but she is decent everywhere. This Nunes win, a TKO win. No, that lady broke her arm on the first takedown attempt. Victoria can be taken down, which is why I don't think she wins this fight. I do think it may go to a decision. And if it goes to a decision, almost 0% chance Fatima Kline's worth $9,800. I'm not spending it. I am not spending $9,800 on Fatima Kline. She's the pick. She should win this fight. But we did watch her get taken down and sort of get out-wrestled. And if Victoria comes in heavy with a wrestle game plan, she can win a round. She can win some scrambles, get her own control time, and then take away those points from Fatima. So Victoria's not the pick. And I'm not going to put her in my lineup, even though she's only $6,400. But I also can't spend $9,800 on Fatima Kline. I'm sorry. Can't do it. I know some of you think she's like the greatest thing since sliced bread, but not doing it. Then we got Magomed Gadzhiyasulov. I almost got there without having a list, but we had it anyway. And he's taking on Bruno Lopes. Magomed, $8,800. One of my more confident picks, probably worth this money. My one and only concern is his takedown defense. He's a well-rounded guy. He's got good striking, good wrestling. He'll work your body early before coming up top to the head later. Not just a striker. He will primarily strike, and then he'll transition to the wrestling. He'll sneak in takedowns when he needs them. His takedown defense, however, does suck. If you go to him and you try to wrestle him and try to take him down, you're not going to have a ton of adversity. You should be able to get him to the ground. But offensively, if he's dictating, he will get you down. He's coming off this UFC debut win over Ribeiro, where he had 5 takedowns, almost 11 minutes of control time. He's taking on Bruno Lopes. Bruno Lopes making his official UFC debut. He is a striker, a forward pressure striker. He has no problem just pumping out volume. He can be technical. He does throw in combinations, but he can also be sucked into a slug fight. Just stand there, winging punches, trying to see who's going to last longer. He can be a solid grappler as well with some decent offensive takedowns if he gets a takedown, good top pressure. But he's not looking to grapple. He's always striking first and might work in a takedown. For those reasons, I think Magomed wins. I think Bruno's going to be trying to keep this fight standing, stay busy on the feet. Magomed won't have as much success as he would like, and then he's going to go all in on the wrestling. And once he's all in on the wrestling, Bruno Lopes is going to be on his back. Magomed's going to be racking up points, making stuff happen. I think Magomed wins. I'm pretty comfortable. Comfortable was a combination of comfortable and confident. So I'm pretty comfortable in the fact that Magomed's going to get this win. The question becomes, will he be worth $8,800? And I think he might be. If he is wrestle heavy, We're going to get 5 points for a takedown. We're going to get the control time. I think he can be worth this money and he can make it happen, especially after what he did in his last fight. So Magomed's going to be the pick, and I'll probably have some exposure to him in DraftKings lineups. Then we have Ernesta Kareckaite. She is not going to be in a lineup at $9,200. That's far too expensive for somebody who isn't really a finisher. She is, however, a very good striker. She is very technical. She is long. She is lean. She uses that length really, really well, and she puts it all together. Problem is, she doesn't have very good takedowns. She doesn't defend takedowns very well at all. She doesn't work up very well at all. So if she is taken down, she's hanging out. If she is taken down, you don't have to worry that there's going to be some crazy scramble. She almost accepts it and uses her length to try to do jiu-jitsu. But she is a very good, long, lean, rangy striker, and she uses that well. She is coming up this loss to Diani Barboza. A lot of people felt like she won this fight. So don't just look at this and be like, oh, Diani. A lot of people think she won this fight. People feel it was a bad decision. It was close, nonetheless. And oddly enough, her nickname is heavy-handed. She's not heavy-handed. She's not. I'm going to look real dumb if she gets a finish here. She's not heavy-handed. She is taking on a UFC debut in Nicolle Caliari. Nicolle is a grappler. So while we have Ernesta, long, lean striker, we have Nicolle, short, jacked grappler. She's like a little bulldog. She's jacked. And she wants to come forward and bully you. Striking, she'll stay on the outside. She'll take her time. And then when there's an opportunity, she'll close the distance, get you to the cage, and just literally try to bully you to the ground. She can clinch you up. In the clinch, she'll work knees. But again, she's trying to bully you to the ground. The technique's not the cleanest, but she is strong. Cardio's not the best. Ernesta's going to win this fight. Because even if Nicolle has some success early, dragging Ernesta to the ground, Ernesta's not going to stop. She's going to be fresh the whole fight. The length, the range is going to be an issue. Nicole's going to get hit at farther and farther distance. Going to have a harder and harder time coming in. And Ernesta should win this fight. She's not going to win by finish. She's not going to have a whole bunch of takedowns on her side. So she is not going to come anywhere near her salary. Ernesta wins this fight. She probably wins at like 72 points. And that's not going to cover a $9,200 salary. So Ernesta's the pick. Full fade as far as the DraftKings lineup is concerned. Then we have Jacobe Smith taking on Preston Parsons. Jacobe Smith making his official UFC debut. He was a Contender Series guy and one of the better prospects coming out of the Contender Series. And he is stepping up on short notice. Preston Parsons' original opponent was also a UFC debut coming off the Contender Series. He dropped. He's gone. I think he broke his neck. Something ridiculous like that. But Jacobe stepping up on short notice. He's a high-level wrestler. Wrestled in college, did all the things. He's a high-level wrestler, and he's wildly athletic. So what are you going to get? A fast, strong, powerful guy that will get takedowns, but also throw punches. Maybe not the cleanest technique, but he will throw them lightning fast with insane power. He can knock you out. He can take you down. And on the ground, he's not just camping out doing nothing. He stays busy. He's got great hips, so it's very hard to shake him, and he will rain down looking for a finish. Jacobe Smith is very good. But he's also very early in his career, and it's hard to tell what he is going to be. Is he going to be another busted UFC debut, or is he going to be the real deal? We don't know yet because we've never seen him fight anybody good. And now he's fighting Preston Parsons. And Preston Parsons is good. Does he have the best record? No. He can be finished. He's not exactly the beacon of durability, but Preston Parsons is good, and he has wins at this UFC level. He also has all finishes in his 11 wins. 9 of those 11 wins are submissions. So not all finishes. He does have a decision or two, but you get the point. When he is winning by finish. And he is finding submissions. And it's not just straight BJJ nerd. He will shoot takedowns. He will create scrambles. And in those scrambles, he will snatch something up. So Preston Parsons is a bit takedown or bust. So he does shoot takedowns. He's not scooting his ass across the floor like an old dog. He's got 7 takedowns in the Semmelsberger fight. He took down Trevin Giles. He took down Evan Elder, who's very good. In the Oban Elliott fight, a fight that he should have won. He should have been able to get the takedowns. He couldn't get it going. I don't think Preston Parsons is going to get this going either. A lot of it has to do with how good I think Jacobe Smith is and less about Preston Parsons. But the reality is Preston's not going to take down a high-level college wrestler. Not going to happen. So now he's doing jiu-jitsu off his back while also eating elbows. So I think Jacobe Smith gets it done. I think he gets easy, early takedowns, plows through Preston, stays busy on top. The question will be, what is Jacobe's cardio going to look like on short notice? What's going to happen if he is put in a weird submission? Will he have composure? He's early in his career. So there's a lot of questions. I think we're going to get all those answers, obviously, and I think he's going to come out on top. Jacobe Smith is the pick, and he's probably going to be worth that $9,400. Then surprisingly early on the card, we have Thiago Moises taking on Trey Ogden. Thiago Moises is a staple in this division. He's only 30 years old. And if we scroll all the way back to 2018, he fought Beneil Dariush, Damir Ismagulov, Bobby Green, Alexander Hernandez, Islam Makhachev, Joel Alvarez, Christos Gallegos. Like, he has fought a who's who of this division. He's been around forever. He has not had an easy road. He has fought everybody anywhere near the top 10. And he's very early in his career. So while he's got a ton of experience in 18 wins and 8 losses, so 26 fights, and he's only 30 years old, I do also think he's starting to max out his potential. We haven't seen the giant evolutions. The Thiago Moises that lost to Ludovic Kline didn't look any better or worse than the one who lost to Saint Denis or beat Mitch Ramirez. And obviously he blew through Mitch Ramirez, but Mitch was showing up on short notice and probably doesn't belong in the UFC. But the reality is, Thiago Moises is good. He is well-rounded. But we haven't seen dramatic improvements. We haven't seen the next evolution of Thiago Moises. And I think that matters because I personally think we are seeing the next evolution of Trey Ogden. We're seeing a guy who early in the UFC career was kind of struggling a little bit, right? Had a little bit of trouble with Levitt. The Zellhuber fight was closer than it should have been. Bahamondes gave him some trouble. That guy's long, and I get it. But then all of a sudden, he starts to make the adjustments. He's a little more wrestle heavy. We saw it with the Nicholas Mata fight. We saw it with the Hollaball fight. We saw it with the Loic Radzhabov fight. This win told me everything I needed to know about Trey Ogden. Beating Loic Radzhabov was a great win. I picked him then. I'm picking him now. He was an underdog then. He is an underdog now. I think Trey Ogden's going to dictate the wrestling pace. I think he's going to get the takedowns. I think he's going to score the points. Thiago Moises is the better fighter. The more well-rounded fighter. He's fought the higher level of competition, but I think it's going to come down to who wrestles more and first, and I think that's going to be Trey Ogden. I think he avoids trouble, gets the takedowns, squeaks out a win here. Trey Ogden's going to be the pick, and I will have him in my lineup. Then we have Ihor Potieria taking on Marco Tulio. Ihor Potieria, easy to say. He's 1-4 in his last 5. This guy sucks, no chin. Those are all easy things to say. The reality is he's a good striker. He hits hard. He's got good, clean technique. Problem is he has no defense. His offensive striking is there for sure. The defense isn't. He will get hit, and his chin does not always withstand what comes his way. That's essentially the breakdown. He is trying to evolve. He is trying to reinvent himself. You can see that here with the 3 takedowns he had in the last fight against Cesar Almeida, who's also a very high-level kickboxer. If Ihor Potieria wants to come out here and think he's a wrestler, maybe. But I don't think it's going to work for him here. I also don't think he's going to get a win. He's fighting Marco Tulio. Marco Tulio not only is dating Norma Dumont, congratulations to you and all your success in and out of the octagon, he's also a pretty good fighter. Good striker, solid grappler. Striking's diverse, meaning it's not just boxing, right? He'll mix up the elbows, he'll mix in the knees. He'll use all of his tools. The volume is solid, but it's not overwhelming. He takes his time. He'll hang out at distance. He'll throw some leg kicks to gauge, and then he'll start to work forward. He's a good grappler as well. He can get the fight to the ground and either ground and pound or hunt for a submission. Marco Tulio should win. I'm pausing dramatically because I don't know if I'm going to put him in my lineup at $9,600. Because I will say, despite Ihor's record and the seemingly easy path to finishing him, he's good. Ihor's good. He's better than his record indicates. He's not a quitter. He's a very good striker. He's clearly evolving his other skills. His chin doesn't always hold up. But Marco isn't like a headhunter savage. He's more of a technical guy. So this could be a decision. I mean, I'm pretty confident Marco wins. But I don't know if he's going to cover this salary. It could be a decision where he's just beating Ihor Potieria to the punch, and then in that case, he's not going to be worth the money. So I don't know. I'm probably going to put him aside. We have 28 fighters on this card to choose from. Then we got Jose Johnson taking on Felipe Bunes. Another situation where I'm going the underdog here. Jose Johnson, quite literally the longest flyweight in the history of the UFC. The dude is like 6'9", 125 pounds. Makes no sense. How his bones aren't just snapping in half is beyond me. But he's overall a pretty good fighter. He's obviously a long guy. and he uses that range in Muay Thai exchanges. He'll throw kicks. He'll work in a clinch. He'll keep the knees coming from very far away. And because of that range and that length, he can have success striking. He's a hard guy to deal with, but he can be taken down. All of these losses are because he can be taken down. If you take him down, he does have some submissions because he is so freaking long. He'll wrap things up. Any of the long submissions are there. He's not going to really throw up like an armbar per se, but there's guillotines, there's anacondas, all of the long submissions. He's taking on Felipe Bunes. And you're going to see, oh, Felipe Bunes, look at this. He got finished by Josh Van. Those were body shots. That wasn't his chin giving out on him. Those were body shots. And also, he came into that fight, won the first round against somebody you guys all love in Josh Van, and was having some success. Felipe Bunes is pretty good. He's a BJJ black belt, so he can grapple. He's got very slick submissions. He's very fast in transition, so he's not just old school jiu-jitsu. Do this, then this. If there's a scramble and there's an opportunity, he will jump on it. He's also long and rangy. Not nearly as long as Jose Johnson, but he's long. And he can make stuff happen. He will shoot takedowns as well. He took down Josh Van twice, which is not an easy task. We just watched Cody Durden struggle to take down Josh Van a few times. So I think Felipe Bunes wins this fight. He's $7,600, and I think I will shoot my shot and throw him in my lineup. Because I think Felipe Bunes can close the distance, get to those long-ass legs, take Jose Johnson down, and then once he takes him to the ground, he'll be safe. He's a BJJ black belt. We don't have to worry about anything there, and he can make stuff happen on top. Whether it's just control time or actually work, doesn't matter to me. It's all racking up points. Felipe Bunes is going to be the pick. I will have him in my lineup. Then we have an interesting fight with Punahele Soriano trying to reinvent himself against Uros Medic. This will be his second fight at welterweight. His last fight was against Miguel Baeza, an older gentleman. I think he's late 30s. And he went back to his wrestling roots. In fact, essentially his only wrestling roots. 5 takedowns in that fight. Punahele Soriano is somebody I've talked about in the past. A Division III All-American wrestler. So he is a very good wrestler. He has those skills. He wrestled the majority of his life and then continued that in college. But like so many others, he found some power in his hands. Got addicted to knocking people out. So abandoned the wrestling, became a striker, and he did have some success there, but he became a headhunting power striker who would get outpointed by people who would take their time and do the right thing. And that's when his career started to have ups and downs. Punahele Soriano can be, not is, because we've only seen it in one fight, can be a well-rounded guy. He's got power in his hands. He has wrestling. We have not seen too many performances where he puts all of it together. And he's going to need to put all of it together here because he is taking on Uros Medic. Uros Medic, a very good, clean technical striker. All 10 wins are stoppages. All 10. He comes out fast and loose, a 100% finish rate, as I mentioned. He's got speed, he's got power, he has killer instinct. If you look wobbled, this guy is bringing everything to the table to try to get that finish. His takedown defense is low on the surface, right? It's 55%. But there's one fight that skews all of that. Motobek Orobai took him down 7 times, and that really just screws up all the statistics. But obviously, taking him down is going to be the path to go in this and most other fights. But Tim Means couldn't have that success, and Tim Means is a grindy wrestler. So I do think Uros Medic is going to win this fight, and if history tells us anything, it'll be worth the salary because this guy has 10 finishes in his 10 wins. Uros Medic is going to be the pick. Punahele uses wrestling in his last fight, but that's no guarantee he's going to use it in this fight. And frankly, even if he does use it, what I think may happen is he will feel the power from Uros and then start panic wrestling. And when you're shooting from too far away, when you're not setting up the shots with, striking, that's when you really put yourself out there and you get yourself in trouble. I think Uros Medic wins this fight. And obviously, if he wins this fight, I think he's going to go ahead, score quite a few points. So he will be in my lineup. Then we have another prospect in Austin Bashi taking on Christian Rodriguez. Austin Bashi's a Contender Series guy, major prospect. He's very young at 23 years old. He's got 13 wins in his career. And the wins are solid because you run through them. He's got finishes. He's got decisions. Some were striking heavy. Some were grappling heavy. And he's a very well-rounded guy. He's a genuine prospect. And while he can do all the things, he's primarily a wrestler. He'll shoot nice open mat takedowns. He doesn't need the cage to take you down. He'll shoot right smack in the middle of that cage, and those takedowns are much harder to defend. Once he gets you tied up, he's making things happen. He's shooting. He's tripping. He's striking. He's always doing something, seemingly has excellent cardio, and I love that he has 13 fights. I love that he's not a 5-0 prospect. He's 13-0. Is it a little padded? Is it, yeah. Has he fought the highest level of competition? No, but he earned his way to the UFC, and he did so fighting a whole bunch of people, winning a whole bunch of different ways. For that reason, I think he wins this fight against Christian Rodriguez. But we cannot ignore the fact that C-Rod is the prospect killer. If we work our way down the list here, they threw him in against Raul Rosas Jr. That's Shiwiwi. He was supposed to get smoked, $7,100. And you know what? In the first round, he did get smoked. But he stayed composed. He doesn't panic. He gets up after getting taken down, makes you work. So, Raul Rosas Jr. completely gassed out. Christian Rodriguez was able to make it happen. Cameron Saman, same type thing. A young prospect. A guy they were really trying to do something. It was him and Dricus du Plessis, the South African guys. Christian Rodriguez switched up the game plan. Instead of defending takedowns, he was shooting them. Got that done. Then they gave him Isaac Dogarian, Division I All-American wrestler. Came out, got smoked in the first round. Smoked most of the second round. But he was there in the third round, ready to go, unfazed. No panic. I think this was a terrible decision, but he still showed that he doesn't get frustrated, he doesn't break down, he doesn't freak out. It's that veteran composure that gives me a little bit of angst here. It's the veteran composure of, let's say Austin Bashi comes in, has early success, as Raul did and Dogarian did. But Christian stays calm, does his thing, stays collected, starts to take over late. That is a very real possibility, but I'm still going to go Austin Bashi. Unlike, we're going to leave Saman out of it. Saman was just out-techniqued. But Dogarian and Raul, two heavy grapplers, they both gassed because Christian knows how to make you work. And while they both gassed, I don't think Austin will. While he comes out, he stays busy, he stays in your face, he does stuff, it's not 100% effort. And that was the issue that Raul had and Dogarian. They came out too fast, too hard, set a pace that they could never keep. And then they ultimately gassed out. I don't think Austin will do that. Austin's going to be the pick. Also, this at 145 pounds, not 135 like these fights were. So we're going Austin Bashi. I probably will have him in my lineup. Then we have one of the most interesting fights of the night. We got Roman Kopylov taking on Christopher Curtis. Roman Kopylov is a guy that can beat anybody who can't take him down. That's what we have seen. He's got a good kickboxing background. He was a professional kickboxer before coming over to MMA. He picks his shots really well. He'll settle in. He'll stay busy. And as I mentioned, he can literally beat everybody who hasn't taken him down. And taking him down is not an easy thing to do. He has an 87% takedown defense. He's coming off that decision win over Cesar Almeida, where we saw a new wrinkle in his game. He added takedowns. He had 5 takedowns. And that was the right game plan. He also knocked them down, so the striking was there as well. But that was a nice game plan because Cesar Almeida, who we'll break down next, is a high-level striker. Roman Kopylov is very, very good, but he will be fighting the best fighter he's ever fought in Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis is a tricky guy because while he is very well-rounded, he's got great takedown defense. Coming into his last fight against Brendan Allen, he quite literally had the best takedown defense in the middleweight division. That obviously has plummeted since he was taken down a few times in that fight. But he also has offensive takedowns, not in the UFC, but if you go watch tape in his pre-UFC career, he's got offensive takedowns as well. But he's mostly known for his counter-striking, little short left hooks, his ability to hide in that Philly shell and touch you up. He's a very good striker. The problem is he uses no other skills, despite having good offensive wrestling, despite knowing how to fight everywhere. He chooses to move forward in the Philly shell and just box. That's what he chooses to do. And you know what? If you're only boxing with him, he probably beats you. But Roman Kopylov is not a boxer. He is a kickboxer who manages range really well. And I think Roman Kopylov is going to chop away at that Philly shell. And this hand will get lower and lower and lower. And I think Chris Curtis gets touched up. It likely goes to a decision. Chris Curtis is incredibly tough. He's a guy that you can't just count out. Therefore, Roman Kopylov is not going to be in my lineup. I don't think he's going to be worth the money. But should be one of the more interesting fights on the card. Then we have Abdul Razak Al Hassan at 40 years old taking on Cesar Almeida. Another, just take the Chris Curtis breakdown I gave you and make some adjustments. He's a very well-rounded guy. He's a judo practitioner. He's been practicing judo his entire life. High-level judo guy. Do we get to see that judo in the octagon? No. Because he is fast, he hits hard, he knocked a few people out, and that's what he does now. He's a striker. So what makes it tricky is in his back pocket, we have judo. A lifetime of judo. But he doesn't really use it. If we go all the way back to the Joaquin Buckley fight, he was shooting some takedowns. And he might do it here. Because Buckley is a dangerous striker, as is Cesar Almeida. But Abdul Razak Alhassan is a guy that has all the tools, but only uses one of them. And yes, he's fast, he's powerful, he can knock you out, but he hasn't. So we'll see what happens. He's an older gentleman as well. He's taking on Cesar Almeida. Cesar Almeida, a very, very good high-level striker. A former professional kickboxer. So good at kickboxing, he actually beat Alex Poatan Pereira. He smoked him in kickboxing. And they brought him into the UFC to do the whole, basically, Izzy plot line, but in this direction. So they have Cesar Almeida in the UFC, hopefully trying to get him some wins to set up a fight with Alex Pereira. But that's not what happened because the hype train was a little bit derailed when Roman Kopylov beat him and showed us how easy it is to take him down. Then Ihor Potieria doubled down on that and took down Cesar Almeida as well. Cesar Almeida is by far the better striker. And if Abdul Razak Alhassan comes charging forward, winging heavy punches, trying to take his head off, Cesar Almeida is going to beat him to the punch and smoke him. Period. End of story. But if Abdul Razak Alhassan starts to lean on his years and years and lifetime of judo, well, that's a different fight. And that is the one thing that worries me. I do think Cesar wins, but I am going to leave him out of my lineup for two reasons. One, he is perfectly capable of point fighting his way to a win, as he did against Ihor Potieria. And two, he can be taken down over and over and over again. I'm not going to spend the money on Cesar, but I am pretty confident he gets it done. Then we have our co-main event of the evening. We have Carlston Harris taking on Santiago Ponzinibbio. We have an interesting situation here where Carlston Harris was the favorite and the line full flipped. He is now the underdog, even though the DraftKings pricing kept him as a favorite. Carlston Harris is kind of a crazy guy. He's a little older. He's not young by any means, but he comes out there looking to take your head off. He'll spin around. He'll just bomb away. He'll hunt for submissions randomly. This Jeremiah Wells fight, he was losing the whole freaking fight. And then bang, pulls off an anaconda choke. Carlston Harris is a dangerous guy the entire 15 minutes. He's not amazing at anything other than staying tough and staying dangerous. He'll wing punches. He'll shoot takedowns. He'll aggressively look for submissions. He's taking on Santiago Ponzinibbio. Probably the better overall fighter, certainly the better striker. He's sort of a pot shot striker. He's fast and accurate, moves pretty well, stays busy. He doesn't have big one-punch knockout power, even though you see like he beat people like Alex Morono by finish. But it's really because he is fast and he's accurate. And it just accumulates over time. Gets you against the cage, works from there. Ponzinibbio can defend some takedowns, get some takedowns. Like overall, he's a very well-rounded guy. He is older, he is slowing down, and he is very, very focused on his commentating career. He's not all in on being the best fighter he can be. I still think Ponzinibbio wins. I've been saying that since he was an underdog. I'm not touching this in DraftKings Fantasy, but the reality is he's probably worth a couple of bucks. Or Carlston Harris. I believe the statistic is the $8,200, $8,000 price point, right? That basically dead even odd price point is in optimal lineups more than any other price point. So it's the most, not accurate, not diligent, the most, I don't know what word I need after most, but you get the point. This fight is the fight that ends up in optimal more than others. You're going to have to pick your side, though. It's a razor-thin, sloppy back-and-forth fight. And then we have the main event of the evening. Amanda Ribas taking on Mackenzie Dern in a rematch. Let's scroll down. Here it is. Scored 75 points in a 3-round fight where she had 2 takedowns, landed a bunch of strikes, wasn't afraid of shit. And this fight's going to be pretty much the same. Amanda Ribas is not afraid of Mackenzie Dern's jiu-jitsu. Obviously, Mackenzie Dern's phenomenal jiu-jitsu, but Amanda Ribas' father is her coach. She's been on a jiu-jitsu mat her entire life since she was 4 years old. So yeah, she's not as accomplished as Mackenzie Dern, but she's been exposed just as long. She's a very, very good jiu-jitsu practitioner, very high-level judo, And she is also dangerous as hell. She's got powerful strikes, versatile striking. She's an absolute dog who will come forward and bring the fight to you. She just coming off that loss to Rose Namajunas, up a weight, 10 pounds heavier than this fight is going to be. And I thought that was a razor-thin fight that I think you could have given it to Amanda. But even if you don't want to give it to her, and I'm not Jacob, I'm not simping for her, I'm using logic. Even if you don't give it to her, okay, she just went 25 minutes with a former world champion up a weight class, tossed her ass to the ground 4 times, controlled her, landed 137 strikes. That's a phenomenal performance. And she's taking on a very one-dimensional Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern's offensive striking is actually improving. She comes forward, it's clean, she'll tuck the chin, do what she's supposed to do. But anytime you throw strikes her way, they're going to hit her right smack in the face. She's got no head movement, no striking defense at all. She's got a negative striking differential, a 16% takedown accuracy, and I don't know how she's going to win this fight outside of a flyer submission. That's it. Yeah, she just took down Lupe Godinez, but Lupe Godinez is one of the most inconsistent fighters we've ever seen. She's very complacent. She'll just accept whatever's going on, get tossed to the ground, make stupid-ass decisions. But Mackenzie Dern is dangerous on the ground, but as time goes on, people know what you're looking to do. People aren't as afraid of you. I don't see Mackenzie Dern having a lot of success here. Amanda Ribas wins this fight, and I will have her in my lineup because I think it's an affordable price point for 25 minutes. Guys, that's the breakdown. Become a premium member. Join this crew of people that have made over $700,000 playing DraftKings Fantasy using our tools. One of those tools is the Optimizer. We have a cheat sheet, a whole suite of picks, bets, artificial intelligence, and everything else you could ever need heading into a fight week. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top.